Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of Tips from TTO with our resident expert, Megan Wallander, accounting, payroll professional from the tax office. Megan, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I look good.
You do look good. I'll give you that. And it's Monday.
You know, I have to say that to myself because I look in the mirror and I see more wrinkles every day.
It can be a little distracting. You just got to focus. Focus.
And I was like, oh.
When did that happen?
What happened here? I took off the beard because...
I noticed that.
There was too much gray.
Too much.
And I was like, man, it's detracting. And I'm looking...
From all this awesomeness.
And I don't know if anybody was mistaking that. You know, you think gray, some sage, sage wisdom. I don't think it was working.
Well, I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. No comments.
So... thanks for joining us today, folks. We do appreciate it. If you're enjoying the show, what we're doing here at Red Earth Productions, please hit the subscribe button. Take a moment, click on the bell for all the alerts for upcoming episodes of The Rep Way, Hump Day with the Rep, Tips from TTO. We were talking micro business here, small business in our local community, and we've got some fun stuff here.
We've got a lot of stuff going on.
First, we want to get some things out of the way. Megan's got some, what do you call that? We got
reminders.
Yeah, we just got to clear up some stuff here. Make sure everybody's on track, right?
Make sure everybody's on the same page and not getting behind on that important stuff with running your business. So just a friendly reminder, April 30th is the last day for your quarter reports and your payments to be sent in. So don't get behind on that. Get those sent in. It does need to be postmarked by the 30th. So as long as you have that 30 on there, you'll be good to go.
Now, I know they extended the personal tax date to May 17th.
May 17th is that date. So
because that's a Monday, right?
It is a Monday, yeah. So the 15th, I believe, landed on that, that Saturday. So the 17th, it has been extended. And so you still have a little bit more time to get that tax return done. Don't wait, get it done.
But that wasn't business. March 15th
it was not
still business.
No,
huh?
They did not give us business people any more time. So if you are not on extension with your business return, get a hold of your tax professional, get a hold of Greg at the tax office. We're still there. We'd be more than happy to help you navigate through that process. But with your personal taxes, again, you still do have a little bit of time to get that done and mailed in if you did owe or whatnot. If you already did have your taxes done, it did give you a little more time to get that payment in if you did owe. So, lots of stuff going on there, but you got a little bit more time.
Now, remember, though, folks, they're not in their tax. The tax office is not in their tax time hours.
We're
back
not.
to normal hours.
Back to normal hours. So I'm there.
So make sure
9 to
you
5
get,
every day.
Yeah, give a call, right? Make
Yes.
your appointment if you're still needing to get that done, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Greg will be, by appointment only, but he is still there. He's taking a few days off. So we will be setting up appointments for him to get back in the swing of things. So we are there. Don't forget about that.
So now that we cleared all that up.
Yeah, that important stuff with TTO.
We got some business here to talk about because, Megan and I, and this is our focus here with Red Earth Productions because we are both micro business owners. And when we talk about micro business, I know people say, there's all kinds of terms out there. Small business. Do you really know how to define small business? What is defined? How does the government define small business? Small to medium business. And then everything underneath that.
Yes.
We like to call mom and pop. There's the entrepreneur. There's this person. There's that person. But we put it all in this one space because it's a micro business, and that runs 15 employees or less.
Yes.
Usually,
according to IRS. Yes.
And so this is what we talk about, and this is where it gets difficult. And many of the businesses like that, we're family owned.
Yep.
So it's just 4 of us.
Yeah. Well, there's only 3 of us at the tax office. So
that's right. So, competing and putting yourself in this position, that's one of the things that I'm hearing a lot being talked about with, I was listening to Mark Cox this morning on 97.1, and he was talking with another host of a show on their weekend, and they were talking about what's happening. and the idea of all the online businesses,
Yes.
of all the online, how is it affecting, because stores aren't open? How do we get open? Look, open your store.
Agreed.
Open your store. That's what needs to happen. And I know, and I'm going to say that, and people you don't have to subscribe and all that stuff. We hope you do, whatnot, but this is what I believe in. If we as local businesses don't open our doors and get back to business as usual, we're not going to have business.
You're not going to be
And
there.
we're not going to allow the federal government to stop us from achieving what we always have called the American dream.
The American dream, that life, liberty, and that pursuit of happiness, which, in defining what you choose to do. As a small business owner, you have the right. No one should be able to dictate how you run your business. Now, granted, we don't want to be doing anything
nefarious
outside of but
Yeah.
I mean, as a small business owner, you have the right to stand up in your local governments, your state governments, to say, hey, this is what I'm choosing to do. Absolutely.
And that is where we really need to focus our attention, honestly, folks, is in that
local piece.
Local business.
Absolutely.
Because let's take, for instance, Sam Page. What has he done to St. Louis County?
It's not pretty up there.
Oh, my gosh.
It's not.
Hello. We've had Mr. Ellman. He's been thoughtful about COVID, and I understand all those things. I have no problem.
Yes.
And look, if you're a micro business, you need to open your doors. Be cautious. If you feel like you want to have somebody wear a mask when they come in your store, fine.
That's your right.
And
absolutely.
that is your right. Open up your business, though. Get back to it. If somebody doesn't want to come into your business because they don't want to wear a mask, that's their right too. When are we going to start respecting people's rights?
That's
and if
the
you
key.
look at Texas, if you look at Florida, if you look at these states that have opened up, they had 48,000 people at the home opener of the Rangers, full to capacity. How come their numbers are going down? We need to start looking at these things and talking about these things effectively. I have no problems with people if they choose to wear a mask, if they choose to go.
Key. Choose.
But when did that stop being our right?
Right.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about our rights.
Yes.
Freedoms to do this or that. It comes down to our rights as business owners.
Yes.
And these are the things that we need to, and I'm going to bring up and discuss because, hey, you know what? It's nitty gritty time.
It is to the point of, as I talk to a lot of my my clients and whatnot, the feed is we just feel stagnant right now. We feel like we're waiting for that next big restriction or that next big law to come out and knock us down again. So it can feel like you're in a pause moment or you're just kind of stagnant. But there's a lot of things that you can do as a small business owner, especially, being involved in your local governments and not being afraid to open back up. Put those things in place, put those operational things in place, get yourself back open. That's the first thing that you need to do. And don't be afraid. Get back to business as usual. Put those things in place. There are, we talk about the hiring piece a lot for small businesses, and it can be a little tricky no matter what's going on. But there are still great people out there looking for positions. You just got to be able to, you got to be open to find them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but there's the other part of it too. We talk about hiring. There are jobs out there, folks. The problem is the federal government has made it difficult for the micro business owner, the restaurant, the local shop,
your local
on the corner,
dress shop, or your local, whatever the case may be, whatever business you are.
Because that person doesn't have to go back to work because they're getting more money from the federal government. But where's that money coming from? I want people to understand something. The federal government does not create jobs.
At all.
They have no money coming in other than what we, the American people, give them. I wonder, or does anybody know where $2.3 trillion is going to come from for this next infrastructure bill that Mr. Biden is planning?
I don't think people ask those questions. I don't think the American people are asking those questions. We've been blindsided over this last year. And I think most of us, not most us, but in general, are kind of speechless in the things that have taken over. I don't think they're asking that question. Where does money come from?
I'm just a business owner, folks.
Right.
I'm a local business owner, and I'm looking at why is the state of Missouri looking to increase the tax on gas?
On gas.
That's happening right now.
Yes. It's going through.
What else is, I don't know if it's going through yet, but it's on the docket. They're pushing it. Why? What for? What is that about? Is it about our roads? Is that money going to go there? Every time I listen to the conversations about the local government, the state government, what's happening in our state? What are we doing to help micro business? What are we doing to get our state back on top? Hey, look, I'm living my life just as I was. I'm not going to live in fear of something that has a 99.7% in my. Wait a minute. I'm 54. I don't mind saying that. So my survival rate of COVID-19 is 99.6%.
That's a pretty good margin.
I mean, honestly, folks,
and
what are we doing?
Agreed.
This is about, I know we have a hard time teaching critical thinking skills in school nowadays.
It doesn't happen.
But to me, if I think about those things and I look at that, it's no different than me not getting a flu shot, which I've never gotten a flu shot. And they only say that a flu shot, which we've had and went through much more clinical trials than this shot,
years,
has only a 40% effective rate. Do you know that?
You know what, I did not, and that's a little
All you
scary.
have to do is go read, go to the CDC and read. That's it. I mean, we're taught how to read in school. Go, the CDC, the website is open. It's got all kinds of information there. Go read.
Well, and I think that's we talk about staying up on, information as a business owner, knowing what's going on in your communities. The CDC website is a great informational tool to help you navigate to open your business back up safely. If you want to put up barriers, if you want to have a mask mandate, that is your right.
Yes.
But open back up without fear. Your livelihood depends on it. Your families depend on it. And you shouldn't live in a state of fear and let your business continue to crumble to where you might not be able to open back up.
And I know there are issues with hiring and all that, and
absolutely,
it's very tough right now.
The market is tricky. I mean, hiring in general is always a juggle in we're talking large corporations. I worked for several large corporations, and it was always a juggling act to hire good people. So small businesses, or micro businesses, even find that challenge a little bit harder too. Now we have, different aspects of, money coming from the government and unemployment, it being extended to December. There's lots of avenues, but there are really great people out there, but you have to be open to find them.
And, to Megan's point, these are the things that's going on. I'm a member on Alignable. It's like LinkedIn. It's a business,
right,
but it's for micro, small business. And there's an article, a blog here from Eric Groves from April 16th that says why the PRO Act is anti-small business. And if people don't know what's going on, the PRO Act is a bill that has been presented into legislation at the federal level. And I'm gonna show you a couple things here, and says what is the PRO Act? The PRO Act of 2021, or Protecting the Right to Organize Act, focuses on reducing the barriers for employees to unionize, based on a version of a small state law that passed in California. Of course, the People's Republic of California.
The People's Republic of California. I have never met anyone that said, "Hey, let's go to California." And you know what's sad? It's such a pretty state.
I was born in Southern California, lived there, got married there. My wife was born and raised in Southern California.
Grandparents, I have aunts and uncles. Yeah.
We still have family in California.
Yes, it is. It's unbelievable. And it's such a pretty state, and it has definitely turned into something.
And it's tragic.
It is very tragic. It really is.
It's just tragic. So, it makes it easier for workers to form a union with the aim of protecting them from unfair working conditions. Now, that to me, the language here, the worst part of this is the language at the end, unfair working conditions. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to know who's deciding what is unfair working conditions.
Right.
That's my biggest issue with this.
Yes, and most companies, as we know of, in 1920s, 1930s, yes, there were considerable unfair working conditions. We all know that. But through legislation and through things that have went through our federal governments and our local governments and even state governments have put things in practice, HR divisions of companies and whatnot, to stop that from happening. And again, who defines an unfair working? You have to be to work on time? Is that unfair?
Here's the thing, and this is always the way it
is.
works.
It's a big juggling act.
In that time frame, you had the corporations. They didn't care about people.
They did not. No.
But listen, there were companies that did. I don't care. It still comes down to the individual.
Yes, it does.
Because
self-accountability.
If you go back to Henry Ford, paid his workers great dollar.
He's got a great history.
And Ford Motor Company always did before there were unions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so that's just one
example
pulled off the top of my head.
Right.
So we can't say, they were all terrible, but there were some. Unions came in. I don't think unions are a bad thing in that respect. I just don't think it needs to be something that's always done.
The initial intent behind a union was not bad,
was to
but as what man does,
better working conditions.
Yes, which there were. In some areas it was needed.
As it always does. No, there's no balance. It's everything. Mankind doesn't know how to
balance
anything.
Yes.
And that's what's at issue. Everybody wants. You want to own the business. But you don't want to
put the effort in behind it. Yes. And if behind every great success story, you pick any great success story, look at the backstory, look where they came from. We're not willing to look at what it took to get there.
Right.
To have that kind of success. We just want the success. And that's not how it works. And, we are micro businesses, small businesses. We see what goes into small businesses, the many hats that small business owners wear on a day-to-day basis. It takes a little bit of hard work, a little bit of elbow grease to achieve that goal. You can get there, but you got to be open.
let's look at a couple things in this too that he
this
that
PRO
he
Act
points
is a
out.
little interesting.
Because as we do this, he says, unfair working conditions. Here's the other. If this legislation passes, there's a provision within it that could act as a virus that would target the dreams of freelancers and independent contractors who depend on contract work for survival. Okay. In short, it will remove the free from freedom. This is what he says. This is the article here. As Congress tries to keep the legislation under the radar, and President Biden intends to include the PRO Act or key elements of it in his proposed $2.3 trillion infrastructure, which I'm still not quite sure where we're getting the money for that.
Yeah,
other than the fact that we're borrowing it from the banks. Inflation goes up, everything, another day.
Yes, another day.
That's economics.
Right, economics, yes.
But I think what he says here, what does the PRO Act do? He says one specific part of the PRO Act bill redefines what it means to be an employee versus an independent contractor.
Yes.
And he says a provision called the ABC test determines whether or not you can work as an independent consultant for another business. Under Part B, many freelancers would now be considered employees. So basically, they're taking away. The federal government's then now deciding
what you can and cannot do.
I mean, if we don't,
that's scary, folks. Yeah, that is. Or we're going to have this link up, I believe, on
yes,
today's
it'll
show.
be in the show.
So you can go
the
read
show
for yourself.
notes.
And this is something as whether you own a business that employs 3 people, 20 people, 100 people. This is something that we need to be aware of on our local. Mainly our state, because our state representatives and our senators, they're up there.
This is where you make that phone call.
Absolutely.
You read this, you go look at this, Get on the phone and talk to your U.S. representative.
You betcha.
Your U.S. Senator, Josh Hawley.
Yes.
Roy Blunt right now. And you talk to these people about these things.
I have sent, just for an example, I sent two emails to Josh Hawley last week, and I've already gotten a response letting him know I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. They do answer pretty quick. So,
and I think Josh Hawley does because he's responsive. I think he cares about the American people. I do think his actions are showing us that there is that way. And not to disparage him. I know Mr. Blunt's on his way out, but I think if you said I don't know, I've never done that with him. So I don't know what.
I haven't either. I'm not as familiar with that particular
I'm not.
representative than Josh Hawley. Yeah, so.
But, I mean, Josh Hawley has put himself out there.
He really has, yes. And his actions are proving that, there is some truth to what he's saying.
And looking at what does your state and local representatives think of this bill? What are
your opinion?
Do you know what they think about this?
Yes.
Are they for it or against it? At the state level.
Yes.
At the local level.
At the local level. Because local is what affects you and I on a daily basis.
Do you know that? And I would say you need to find out.
Absolutely.
What do they think? Because
inform yourself.
This is what we're facing.
Yeah, and it's not we're not trying to incite fear or whatnot, but informing yourself takes that fear away.
Yeah, this is
absolutely
conversation.
Having that conversation, it doesn't need to be, that doesn't affect me, or I'm seeing a lot of that type of thought process. It's just another administration. It's just this. No, it has serious consequences. Every election, everyone sitting up there at the state level and the federal level it has consequences on small businesses, on any business for that. But I mean, we're small businesses. They're trying to take us out.
and so, again, we'll have this in the show description down below there. We'll have that link there, and we'll keep talking about this. So go and look. We want to have these open conversations. If you've got a comment, if you've got something, a question or whatnot, your opinion, something that is helpful, please comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Throw it in there. Let's open up the discussion. I think we as micro business owners need to do this. This has to be part of our movement here as we see these things coming, right?
Yeah, definitely. Join in the conversation. As you can tell, we do love to conversate. Join in the conversation. Be happy to talk to you. And that's what we're here for. Absolutely.
So, hey, with that being said, thanks to Megan, as always. Great stuff, Meg. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You can contact the tax office at 636-926-7511.
Yes.
Bingo.
And I'm there. I'm there waiting for your call.
Accounting, payroll, tax preparation, business startup, whatever you need, they can help you there.
Absolutely.
At the tax office. And you can also find them online at thetaxoffice.com. Everybody, thank you for joining in, watching. We do appreciate it. Again, remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, get your notifications. We appreciate you watching, and everybody have a great day in the Lord, and we will see you next time.